Okay, everyone. That time of the day again. How time flies when you're having fun. Lucy must be home early tonight. Chico, stop. Stop. Hey, stop. Chico, that's enough. Come on now.
All right, look, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to get a window open for Chico. Come on. Oh, come on. Sit down, relax. So I got three more talkers from that meeting with Trump with at that last video we played. Three more speakers came up. We're going to be playing that. Oh, there he is. Must have had a busy day today, huh? There you go. Oh, get off at 5 o'clock every 5. I went on about 2 o'clock and did a show. Chico hunting down the deer for you out here. How many years have you been doing that? My brother-in-law owns a stone business and fireplace business, and he's been busy ever since. A lot of work needs to be done around here. Building fireplace, stone.
World of historical artifacts. There are.
So tomorrow we will go at 3 o'clock and do intel, and then come back and do an hour of the State of the Union. See if anything happens. Oh wow, that long, huh? I'm glad you're doing good. So yeah, we're going to do the three short clips, and then Penny just came out I guess there's hostages at in Mexico. Oh, okay. So I got two important videos about 10 minutes. I'm not sure on Flying Eagles, so we'll play them. Okay, we'll be starting here in a few minutes here. Hopefully Terry's safe on that blizzard. Hopefully she won't be out of power that long. Kay should be coming in. Carol's late again. Okay, I guess it's ready to go time. Hopefully everybody will be getting in here. So let's go ahead and get started. So,
I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Laken Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first. To Laken Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
Very sad. Very sad. I got two more.
Border Story and the White House and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son Joshua was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never, ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, "I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family."
Get up here.
I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running his country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that he can calm those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus every day still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for he is sidelined. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Happy Monday. Those are two important, sad stories. I got one more, you guys.
Speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump and putting these angel families first and letting everybody know their stories because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point-blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time because we love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family, and by gosh, I love America. Much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. You are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America.
Well said. And prayers to all the family that had to go through their loss. Tomorrow morning, Trump is going to do a ceremony tomorrow morning, I think. All right, now we'll get to Finney's video. A big video coming up. Hey, no more.
What's up, guys? Benny regularly said that Mexico is a failed state run by the cartels and that he'd love to clean it up. That they were going to be engaging in anti-cartel operations because this is obviously where all the human and drug smuggling happens in the world. And there was a lot of speculation if American intelligence and special forces had an operational hand in the killing of El Mencho. This is the massive cartel boss that was yeeted yesterday and caused all of Mexico, well, to prove Donald Trump right. That it is, in fact, a cartel state, totally and completely operated by the cartels. Mexico is in a state of complete collapse, and Caroline Leavitt has come in over the top and said, yes, the United States provided intelligence support to the Mexican government in order to assist with the operation that led to El Mencho, the infamous drug lord and leader of the New Generation Cartel, being eliminated. So Caroline Leavitt saying, oh, yes, we done did that, and we're going to do more. Now, this is a problem. And the reason why it's a problem is that there are quite a few Americans in Mexico. These cartels are completely ruthless, and you're potentially going to get maybe a hostage situation with the 1.6 million U.S. citizens living in Mexico and the nearly 40 million Americans who visit Mexico every single year. And that's a lot. And that's why the State Department has just moments ago issued a kidnapping warning in Mexico. This is a public service announcement. This is the State Department right here, travel.state.gov, saying that Mexico is incredibly dangerous, and the vast majority of Mexico is in this orange, red, or yellow state where you need to not travel to or reconsider traveling, like cancel your trip to. Look at this. You have 10 different states in Mexico that are orange or red, which is effectively do not travel zones. And this is right on our border. You can see here, increased caution due to terrorism, crime, and kidnapping from the State Department. Many violent crimes take place in Mexico, they say. This includes homicide, kidnapping, carjacking, and robbery. The risk of terrorist violence, including terrorist attacks on other activity in Mexico, have increased. Visit the U.S. State Department for more. U.S. government has limited ability to help you in Mexico. U.S. government employees are not allowed to travel to certain high-risk areas of Mexico. Due to security risks, U.S. citizens should follow the same restrictions as government employees while traveling. And emergency services are limited or unavailable in Mexico. So don't travel in cities after dark. Must rely on dispatched vehicles from a regulated taxi stand. Avoid traveling alone. These are all kidnapping directives, right, to try and prevent it. May not drive between Mexican border cities, U.S.-Mexico border, and interior Mexico. These are there are some limited exceptions. Look at this. Do not travel list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states in Mexico. Reconsider traveling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14 different states in Mexico, actually, not 10. 14 different states in Mexico is on the do not travel list. So that's brutal. Look at this. The state of Mexico has fallen, and the U.S. government is saying we cannot protect you. Libs from California are now getting trapped in Mexico wild because they're the ones who don't like Donald Trump's border wall. And they're the ones who would protest against deporting cartel members. Yet when they see cartel member up close, they don't like it. And they're now begging Donald Trump to come and save them. The state of Mexico in complete and total collapse. Look, this is what it looks like right outside of my beautiful resort villa. This is what I go. This is the kind of cultural flair that I want when I go to Mexico. By the way, it's terrifying. This kind of stuff has happened before, and it will happen again. Narco terrorists are hunting down Americans in Mexico, according to a senator, Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio. He's begging any Ohioans stuck in Mexico. Again, 40 million Americans visit Mexico every single year. 1.6 million Americans live in Mexico and make themselves targets. In 2023, 4 U.S. citizens were kidnapped in Mexico by cartel gunmen, resulting in 2 deaths and 2 survivors. So this kind of stuff is not out of the ordinary. This was in, again, 2023, just a couple of years ago. Likely case of mistaken identity caused high-level diplomatic tension. In 2023, widespread migrant kidnappings, including a December incident where 14 people were kidnapped in Mexico. So this is a big problem. Has led to deaths before. U.S. issues Mexico travel alert, saying effectively, just don't travel. Just don't travel to Mexico. Don't travel to these places. It is in again, a state of total and complete collapse. The prisons have also been attacked by the cartels and have been loosed. All the prisoners have been loosed on the population. I'm sure that's going to help. Again, people are screaming and crying, saying, like, effectively, we're trapped.
Reporting live from Mexico, about 25 minutes from Puerto Vallarta, where there's a massive cartel war happening right now.
Say that that nobody's coming to save them. Oh boy.
They're 5'9", and we don't know how long. So.
Okay, well, here's kidnapping.
Well, we are currently stuck in due to. Am I allowed to say this on?
That the cartels are trying to kill us. He's been shown a night as dozens of flights canceled for them. And you can see them all just like kind of standing. Funny how you're not for open borders when it's the border of your villa in Puerto Vallarta. There you go. The cartels control all human smuggling and trafficking in the United States. Every illegal immigrant who crosses the border first pays footage. This is just totally and completely wild. Mexican cartels are literally blowing up shit, and people wonder why we want secure borders. That's right, yeah. Troubling reports coming out of Puerto Vallarta and other parts of Mexico, hunting down American citizens. The drug cartels should be aware that if any American citizen is harmed in Mexico, there'll be violent terminal retribution. Yeah, don't want to see widespread drug cartel violence in the U.S. Stop interfering with ICE. The Mexican government is not in control of Mexico. If they start taking American hostages, Trump will not hesitate to act. Drug cartel warlords will get what's coming to them. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see. Look at this. Apparently, they're digging up all the roads, and they're just creating a trapped state in Puerto Vallarta. I wouldn't be surprised if this turned into like a Vietnam helicopter evacuation situation with the American military. Because seemingly that's what the cartels are doing. They're digging up all the road. They're preventing anyone from exiting or entering all around this resort town because they know they have thousands, if not tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of foreigners trapped in there that they can use as hostages. It's going to get dangerous. Be careful and say a prayer for your fellow Americans. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.
Oh, I thought VK thought there was a kidnapping thing, but I guess he was saying that there could be kidnapping in Mexico. So I guess we were saying that one wrong. Sorry about that. So we got that first one, short one is the one Lucy and everybody likes. Got one. Let's see what we got. Oh, we'll get here in a minute. Where is it? About 3 minutes.
Fuck off this app and start doing something about what is happening in the United States. We depend on one man to do everything. We never get out in the streets. We never protest. We never open our fucking mouths. All we do is get on this app and bitch and moan. Do you know that Muslims believe that angels, these are the same people that think that they should take us out, that angels cannot enter a house if a dog's in it. Okay? So they're wanting to ban dogs in your house, in people's houses. Are you fucking kidding me? You come over to the United States and you want to yap about how we fucking live? Guys, this is out of control. Did you know in Michigan they passed a law that Islamics can oh my God, let me be careful how I say this since TikTok is waiting to give me a strike. A goat, you know what they did to goat in olden times, in the biblical times? So they've passed a law in Michigan. I think they passed it 2 or 3 years ago, that Islams can take that and do that because of their religion. That's happening in the United States. Over here, we don't do shit like that. In fact, we get petitions up when we find out that there's factory farming going on and horrific shit like that, and we try to stop it. At least us normal people do. Okay? Shit is out of control, and we're slowly seeing our country being taken over by foreign entities. Are we going to sit back and allow this? This is our America. 1776. Those people had more balls than we ever dreamed of. Maybe our balls are just being cut off. Is that what's happening? Or is that because of the transgender thing? Also, on the Epstein situation, Britain is arresting people left and right. Meanwhile, over here in the United States, ain't no damn arrest happened. Elon Musk came out and said that he will pay the legal fees of any victim that wants to come out and name names. By God, it's time to come out and name names. Now, y'all can say what you want to say about they scared, they this, they that. They've been at every damn hearing, standing up, and they took a settlement from the Epstein estate. Stand up and state the fucking name so that the liberals can they can cry and rant and make up more lies when y'all don't name Donald Trump. It is time to name these names, guys. This is ridiculous. You want to say that you're a victim and and this is awful what happened to you? How the fuck do you think you're going to stop them from doing it to somebody else if you don't name names? Name names so other people will stop doing this shit. It is time.
You're right.
It is time for us to get off our asses and do something besides bitch about everything on TikTok. Good afternoon, guys. When are we going?
Another important one.
Housing and make it more affordable for you. Number one, President Trump recently signed an executive order banning large institutional investors like Blackstone from purchasing single-family homes in the United States. This means that there will be more housing supply for you and your family, not wealthy billion-dollar corporations on Wall Street. Number two, President Trump recently made Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac purchase $200 billion worth of mortgage bonds to drive down mortgage rates. And the result, mortgage affordability has now hit a 4-year high. Joe Biden hiked mortgage rates up. President Trump is going to bring them down. Remember his first term, mortgage rates were 2.65%, a record low. Number three, President Trump is reporting illegal aliens from our country who are taking up American housing supply. As a result, rent prices have fallen for the past 6 months, again reaching a 4-year low, and we expect these prices to continue to fall for you and your family. Number four, President Trump is cutting red tape at a historic pace to speed up housing construction, increase supply, and therefore bring down costs. President Trump believes that America is strongest when we are a nation of homeowners, not renters. And that is why he is doing everything in his power to unlock the American dream and make housing more affordable again. A lot of progress has been made, but the best is yet to come.
Okay, the latest clip on the press secretary. Another short one. $3 minutes.
family, accountability is feeling very aggressive to them. As subpoenas start flying and investigations inch closer to real consequences, the panic is getting loud. We've got a big show for you today with breaking news. Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey all had a very bad day today, courtesy of the FBI. Meanwhile, the Justice Department says mugshots may be coming soon. This as Ilhan Omar appears to be panicking over mounting evidence pointing to multiple illegal activities. Funny how transparency suddenly disappears when consequences show up. Like the video, subscribe so you don't miss any of the breaking headlines. I want to start with some exciting news. Before we dive into all of that, a big announcement today by the Second Lady, Usha Vance, posting that their family is growing. JD Vance also releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, "We're very excited to share the news that Usha is pregnant with our fourth child, a boy. Usha and the baby are doing well, and we are all looking forward to welcoming him in late July." Congratulations to the both of you. We wish you nothing but the best. Okay, now to today's breaking story. The FBI department has signed, sealed, and delivered grand jury subpoenas to Governor Tim Walz and other key Minnesota officials.
The FBI has apparently just served subpoenas to several officials here in Minneapolis, including members of the office of Governor Tim Walz.
And I can now confirm that Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, Mayor Jacob Frey, St. Paul's mayor, and several other officials have all received subpoenas as part of a major investigation. Shortly after the news broke, Tim Walz, he issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "The state of Minnesota will not be drawn into political theater. This Justice Department investigation, sparked by calls for accountability in the face of violence, chaos, and the killing of Renee Good, does not seek justice. It is a partisan distraction." Well, Tim Walz and Jacob Frey, they're being accused of conspiring to impede ICE.
ICE currently has more than 1,360 immigration detainers on illegal aliens in Minnesota jails and prisons. And we are calling on Governor Walz and Mayor Frey to turn these criminal illegal aliens directly over to ICE to keep Minnesota residents in our community safe. If local officials, including those in the Twin Cities, don't want ICE to arrest criminal aliens that are at large in their communities, the best solution is to turn them over to us in a safe, controlled setting like a jail or prison, instead of releasing them back onto the street to victimize our neighborhoods.
The fact that these Democrat leaders won't let ICE into their jails just proves that they want the chaos on their streets. Now, as for Attorney General Keith Ellison, who is also under federal investigation, he just managed to fail what should be the easiest civics pop quiz of all time. What is the FACE Act?
The FACE Act, by the way, is designed to protect the rights of people seeking their reproductive rights to be protected, and so that people, for a religious reason, cannot just use religion to break into women's reproductive health centers. Right?
Are officially entering the Find Out.
Yeah, I got some other ones with her later. This one, we haven't played her in a while. Here. Ah.
I posted this video about the possibility of not having to pay as much tax. I had no idea that was such a controversial concept. Have we been so brainwashed in this country that we think that the cities, the counties, the states, the federal government cannot operate and give us the services that we need without all this money we're paying? I mean, we're paying close to 40% of our income in the various kinds of taxes. Y'all, wake up. Do you not remember Doge and all the corruption that uncovered? The billions of dollars that have been just stolen from us and wasted. If our country can waste billions upon billions of dollars, Minnesota Just Minnesota has wasted well over $24 billion by itself. If these states and federal agencies and counties and cities can afford to waste all this money, then they can afford to pay for the police and the firemen and the schools and all this stuff that our property taxes are supposed to be paying right now. But we pay them so much. Why is that one little area that's earmarked? Why are people so up in arms about the potential of not having to pay property taxes? That doesn't mean you're going to lose your fire or your police or your schools. That just means that money's coming from somewhere else. And they're taking enough money from us where they should be able to give us those services without adding additional tax money.
Okay, that's another good one here. We got one more.
Somali women experience, whether they're in Somalia or in the U.S. Yes, the women living here are experiencing this very same thing. It is called gudniin in Somali. Here, we just simply call it female circumcision. What they do is they get little girls between the ages of 5 and 12 years old. There will be 3 women present. It's a woman who does it. They hold her down, and with either a razor, a knife, or scissors, no anesthesia, mind you, they slice off the clitoris and the hood. That's in the tame cases. In the more extreme cases, they also remove the inner lips as well. There's no stitches. After they cut them, like I said, no painkillers, nothing.
Sorry about that one, you guys. That one wasn't very good. Okay, let's do an interesting one. I got one here. I can't remember on this one. 10 minutes.
To realize we've been lied to from every side, from the government to the medical community, from education, entertainment. Is it possible we were lied to about end times? A few years back, the Left Behind movie series hit the big screen and scared everybody half to death. Hollywood is likely not the best place to get our theology. More than likely, whatever Hollywood puts out, the opposite is closer to the truth. But why would they lie to us about end times? To scare us to pieces, and more importantly, to cause us to stand down. What do you mean by that? If most Christians are expecting to leave Earth and not be involved in Armageddon, they're already checked out of the battle. And that's just exactly what the criminal cabal wants. That way, Christians won't join to fight the battle against the beast because their bags are packed to be raptured to heaven. And what the deceivers really want is for Christians to believe that defeat is inevitable.
Okay, we haven't seen before.
But what if that's a big lie? What if the world falling to the beast is not inevitable? What if our victory is inevitable? Just like everything else they've told us. What if we're not leaving? Many evangelical churches have taught for years that Christians will leave Earth in a rapture. Now, you might have heard this all your life, but what if that's not true? What if when Jesus told us to pray, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, he was being literal? What if he told us to pray for the kingdom to come to earth because that's exactly what will happen? What if we defeat the criminal cabal and the meek really do inherit the earth? What if the building of the third temple that ushers in the Antichrist is a misinterpretation and was meant to throw us off? What if they deceived us because they would never rebuild the third temple to keep Christians asleep? I know it's a lot to think about. What if we are all
Carol, what do you think
experiencing
of
the
this
great
one?
awakening the prophets foretold?
And he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the voice of the Lord. I will make breath into you and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came together, bone to bone. I looked, and tendons and flesh appeared on them, and skin covered them. But there was no breath in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the breath and say to it, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe into these slain that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath entered them. They came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast army.
If you've awakened to realize you've been lied to about everything, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe the awakening is about us all realizing that criminals have been running the world. And what if the Antichrist is not
Yeah, no,
one
that last
individual,
one
as
wasn't
they
very
said,
good. Sorry,
but
everybody.
it is one collective criminal mafia network that's anti-God, anti-freedom, anti-love, anti-peace, anti-family, anti-justice, and everything antithetical to Christ. Check out what Paul told us in 2 Thessalonians 2.
And you know what is holding him back, for he can be revealed only when his time comes. For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way. Then the man of lawlessness will be revealed, but the Lord Jesus will kill him with the breath of his mouth and destroy him by the splendor of his coming.
What if that man of lawlessness is the New World Order criminal cabal? Doesn't that make sense? They've been causing terrifying tribulation worldwide. Wars, financial devastation, sickness, complete tyranny. And worse, these people are sick, trafficking in every kind of evil.
Babylon is fallen. She has become a home for demons. She is a hideout for every foul spirit, a hideout for every foul vulture and every foul and dreadful animal.
I wish this was just your garden variety corruption, but we have learned we are literally fighting demons. What if what we are experiencing is the epic battle to take down this worldwide demonic criminal network? Literally, the battle to save humanity. The battle to take down the beast of Revelation. That's certainly what it feels like. Now buckle your seatbelt, because this is going to be huge. What if what we are experiencing worldwide is the great battle of Armageddon? Now, before you flip out and expect nuclear holocaust, remember, what if that was a deception? What if they knew this day would spell their end, so they wanted us to be too confused to fight? Imagine with me that this premise is true. What happens next? Glorious, amazing, beautiful days we can't even imagine. Funny that even though we were told to pray, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it is rare to hear sermons about that. But it's all throughout God's word.
Though you search for your enemies, you will not find them. Those who wage war against you will be as nothing at all.
The Lord will mediate between nations and will settle international disputes. They will hammer their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will no longer fight against nation, nor train for war anymore. Nothing will hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for as the waters fill the sea, so the earth will be filled with people who know the Lord. The time will come, says the Lord, when the grain and grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested.
Imagine that. Freedom, health, wealth, peace. What if that is the truth? The criminal cabal certainly doesn't want us to believe that, because they know if we believe the truth, we will charge into the battle unafraid, knowing our victory is guaranteed. Oh, and one more thing. We see the great awakening of people all over the world. We see the battle raging all around us. But how do we know for sure this is the end times for the cabal? Because God gave us a sign, much like the Bethlehem star that the wise men saw. This sign is called the sign of the Son of Man, and it appeared September 23rd, 2017. 1 month later, the world started to wake up.
Revelation 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered.
This is not horoscopes. This is biblical astronomy, just like the wise men used. You see, the woman is Virgo, and she represents God's people. The sun is lighting up her shoulders, the moon is under her feet, and the 9 stars of Leo, our Lord, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, were joined by 3 other stars to create a crown of 12 stars. And look closely inside the shape that forms Virgo's womb. Jupiter, whose biblical name is Melchizedek, entered that area and completed a loop after 42 weeks before creating the sign of the Son of Man. Do you want to know the day that Jupiter, Melchizedek, entered that area? It was the day President Trump was elected. This is biblical. Nothing can stop what is coming, because this is God's plan. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming with power. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the 4 winds. I know this opens up a lot of questions. If you want to know more and dive into this beautiful rabbit hole, check out freedomforce.live and the series End Times and 1,000 Years of Peace. Everyone who has is filled with hope and joy and excitement about our glorious future just over that next hill.
So I hope that one was okay. I got another one coming up here, 6 minutes, you guys.
You'd think that intelligence would connect you to people, that seeing more, understanding more, would bring you closer to others. But it doesn't. Instead, it separates you. You walk into a room and everyone is laughing at something you don't find funny, talking about things that seem trivial, surface level, safe. And you smile, you nod, you play along, but inside, you're somewhere else entirely. You're thinking about the conversation beneath the conversation, the patterns no one mentions, the questions no one's asking. And suddenly, you realize you're alone. Not physically, but in every way that matters. This is the hidden cost of intelligence. The price nobody tells you about. The isolation that comes, not from being different, but from seeing differently. Let me tell you something about intelligent people, something that might explain why you feel the way you do. Intelligence isn't just about knowing more, it's about perceiving more, connecting dots that others don't see, following thoughts to their logical conclusions, even when those conclusions are uncomfortable. And here's the problem. Most people don't want to go there. They don't want to question the game. They want to play it. They don't want to examine the mask. They want to wear it. They don't want to wonder if the emperor has clothes. They want to complement the fabric. But you can't help it. You see the threads hanging loose. You notice the inconsistencies, the contradictions, the unspoken agreements everyone pretends are absolute truths. And when you point them out, even gently, even playfully, people get uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because you're right. And being right about things people don't want to examine makes you dangerous. So they distance themselves. Not consciously, perhaps, not maliciously, but they do. They stop inviting you to things. They keep conversations shallow around you. They call you intense or overthinking or too serious. And you learn to keep your thoughts to yourself. You learn to dumb it down, to speak in half-truths, to laugh at jokes you don't find funny, to nod along with opinions you don't share. You learn to hide, because full honesty, you've discovered, is social suicide. Authentic expression is loneliness in motion. Being truly yourself means being truly alone. And so intelligent people find themselves in this strange position, surrounded by others, but profoundly isolated, speaking, but never really heard, present, but not quite there. It's not that you think you're better than anyone. That's not it at all. In fact, you'd give anything to just fit in, to care about the things they care about, to find meaning in the conversations they have. But you can't. You've seen too much, thought too deeply, gone too far down the rabbit hole to come back and pretend the surface is all there is. This is what people don't understand about intelligence. It's not a gift you can put down. It's not a switch you can turn off. It's a lens you see through permanently. You can't unsee patterns once you've seen them. You can't unknow things once you know them. You can't go back to simple answers once you've understood the complexity. And most people, they're still living in the simple answers, the clean narratives, the comfortable illusions. They believe what they're told to believe. They want what they're told to want. They fear what they're told to fear, not because they're stupid, but because it's easier, safer, less lonely. But you can't do that anymore. And that's why you're alone. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This loneliness you feel, this isolation, it comes in stages.
Tomorrow night,
and understanding these stages might help you realize you're not broken. You're just awake in a sleeping world. The first stage is confusion. You're young, perhaps, or newly aware, and you start noticing things don't add up. The adults are saying one thing but doing another. Society claims to value truth but punishes honesty. People preach kindness but practice cruelty when no one's watching. And you think, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe everyone else understands something I don't. So you try harder. You study people. You observe. You analyze. You attempt to figure out the rules of the game everyone else seems to know instinctively. So you try harder. You study people. You observe. You analyze. You attempt to figure out the rules of the game everyone else seems to know instinctively. But the more you understand, the less it makes sense. The rules are arbitrary. The game is rigged. And everyone's pretending not to notice. That's when you enter the second stage, frustration. You try to explain what you see. You point out the contradictions. You ask the questions that expose the illusions. You speak the truths everyone's thinking but no one's saying. And you're met with resistance, denial, hostility even. People tell you you're overthinking, being negative.
So how was that one, you guys? I hope that was good.
That was less expensive.
Welcome to Truth by Billy Bean.
28
Today's
minutes.
date, February 23, 2026. Time in Texas, about 2 p.m. Some of the things we'll cover today. The sun and the East Coast storm. Starmer, the news tightens. And Mexico and its recent hit. And updates for Greenland, Iran, Russia. So some of the
28
sources
minutes,
I'll
guys.
use today include God and the Bible and Patriot subscribers. So let's get started. So we have this from Stefan Burns and NOAA, NASA Space Weather, that Stefan Burns is a geophysicist who puts forth that the strong solar wind we've been experiencing for the last 36 hours, which is known to intensify weather, he puts forth has intensified the bomb Genesis storm we see currently hitting the East Coast and also producing snow, thunder, and lightning, a very rare occurrence. And we have this, the solar wind hitting Earth today will also give us a G1, G2 geomagnetic storm. So that's going on. The sun and weather connection has long been known. And we're hearing New York, Boston, New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, PA, all of these areas are receiving the amounts of snow that were predicted, that 2 to 2 feet or more in some areas, along with they clocked one wind at 75 miles per hour, the same as a Cat 1 hurricane. It is indeed a blizzard. Whiteout conditions have been in place for about 24 hours. Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York
Mary's in Massachusetts,
have closed
guys.
schools. They have closed highways because of the whiteout conditions. There were some reports that on some of the freeways, I believe, maybe close to New York City and New Jersey, state troopers were witnessing cars going in the wrong direction on the freeways because visibility was zero. We also heard reports of snow plows and state troopers getting stuck. So the multiple governments in these states affected have said to their people, stay home. Even if it's an emergency, be very careful driving. But you can't drive, obviously, if cars were going in the wrong direction on the freeway because they could not see. It's best to stay home. So that's going on. Now, what do we have going on in the UK? So we have seen some political moves going on in the UK, I submit. This all for several years, the US has been trying to buy the Chagos Islands, located off of the coast of India, where the US has a strategic military base, Diego Garcia. And the UK has been refusing to sell. Then a few months ago, Keir Starmer said that the UK was just going to give this group of islands, Chagos Islands, that includes Diego Garcia, to a small island off of Africa, Mauritius, that is known to be controlled by the CCP. Naturally, this infuriated the US. Then I guess Keir Starmer was told by someone, you need to sell it to the CCP. And yet, during this period, the UK was rebuffing the US, putting forth their opportunities to buy the Chagos Islands, which has been going on for 2 years. So we see the UK has had a plan in place all the while to go against the US and to better serve many of their masters located in China and the CCP. We saw Keir Starmer going January 29, 30, and 31 to China. And it was believed that was to get his payoff for his refusal to sell the Chagos Islands to the U.S. and give or sell them to the CCP. So that's been going on. And now we have this. So at the end of January, Starmer went to China to get, no doubt, his payoff. And then we began to hear rumblings, fallout from the Epstein files tied to several UK politicians and reflecting very darkly on Keir Starmer. So then we had February 16, we heard about the arrest of Prince Andrew, supposedly from the fallout from the Epstein files, but he's not being charged with underage sex with girls. Instead, he's being charged with misconduct in public office. Then, 4 days later, we have Keir Starmer closing the RAF Fairford base located in the UK and also trying to close Diego Garcia to the U.S. to fly from those bases to hit Iran.
Enjoy 24-hour access at most Planet Fitness clubs. $1 down, $15 a month. Deal ends February 27th.
And then 3 days later, we have a new politician being arrested.
1 minute.
Now, this goes back to about early February, February 8. There was fallout on Keir Starmer from the Epstein files, also involving an envoy to the U.S. Keir Starmer had put.
You got your power, Terry. Billy said, mentioned Massachusetts.
Put in place Mandelson. An investigation was begun on Mandelson by the UK police about February 8. Also, February 8, there were calls for Keir Starmer to resign. Instead, he fired his aide, Morgan McSweeney, trying to blame McSweeney for putting Mandelson in as the U.S. envoy from the UK in 2025. Mandelson has been involved in UK politics for 25 years, and several times was notably fired from his position. So, and it was known by Keir Starmer that Mandelson had ties to Jeffrey Epstein all the way back to 2008 through 2019, when Epstein was charged with trafficking and underage sex. And yet, in 2025, Starmer names Mandelson to be envoy to the U.S. Well, so February 8, Keir Starmer had to fire his number one aide, Morgan McSweeney, trying to imply that McSweeney was responsible for naming Mandelson in this Epstein fallout. And then today, February 23, we see Mandelson being arrested by the UK police. So we see Keir Starmer hanging on to power by his fingernails, involved with the CCP and Epstein. And we see his tie and China, Xi, also holding on to power by his fingernails. I submit the noose is tightening around Keir Starmer, who demonstrates to the world that he is a traitor to both the US and the UK. Don't be surprised to see him being investigated and arrested for misconduct in public office also. So that's going on. Now, in my last video, I brought out information about the Zorro Ranch, Epstein Zorro Ranch, located in New Mexico near Santa Fe. I had a Patriot subscriber who said, how many people from Hollywood do you think live near Santa Fe? Excellent point. So that's going on. And we have this. Okay, what's going on in Mexico? So we saw yesterday, Sunday, that the Mexican military, with the aid of the U.S. military, taking down a CJNG cartel leader, El Mencho, for whom the U.S. State Department had recently put out a $15 million bounty. So that happened Sunday. Then the cartel retaliated and began setting fires, shooting people, blocking highways, taking over the airport, local hospitals. And this was going on, I understand, in 15 different states inside Mexico, involving multiple cartels. And with regard to the Mexican military's takedown of El Mencho, Mexican Special Forces recently received training from the U.S. Navy to make the hit. And we have this. The cartel also yesterday in Jalisco hit the Mexican military National Guard and killed 5 or 6 National Guard. The raid was located in Taapa, Jalisco. And this is also where
I'm going to pause this for a second, you guys. I don't know if this is true or not, but I don't know if it's true. We'll see what happens.
Forever. The body of Nancy Guthrie was found floating in a pond near Catalina foothills. On Saturday, police received a report of a floating body discovered in an abandoned pond near Sabino Canyon. The body was identified as that of long-missing Nancy Guthrie, found just 2 miles from her residential community. Police investigations revealed numerous dragged footprints near the water's edge. These tracks extended to the shoreline, distinctly different from ordinary walking patterns, and appearing to show signs of struggle and forceful movement. Police preliminarily speculate that Nancy may have been forcibly brought to this location and engaged in a violent struggle with the suspect. The body's state of decomposition indicates it may have been floating in the water for over a week. Further examination of the remains is currently underway. Meanwhile, investigators stated they are tracing clues related to Nancy's activities prior to her disappearance and are appealing to the public for additional information to uncover the truth behind this case.
It's very, very sad.
That's the first video I found on that, but I can't confirm it, so.
members.
You introduce your buddy to DTF St. Louis. Whoa. He goes on the site
And El Mencho was life-flighted to the hospital, but he died on the way to Mexico City Hospital. And the Mexican military, when they took out El Mencho and the other 7 cartel members, also seized rocket launchers, armored vehicles. And during this hit on El Mencho, 3 Mexican soldiers were wounded. And we have this. The CJNG cartel then retaliated, burning vehicles, blocking highways. They had blocked something like 21 highways yesterday. And they were telling civilians and tourists to stay inside their homes and hotels. It was also alleged that the cartel had kidnapped American citizens to hold for hostages. That was unconfirmed yesterday, and I'm not hearing more about it today. So we could put that down possibly to rumor. And the cartel retaliation spread from Jalisco to Michoacan, Guerrero, Nayet, Colima, and the Guadalajara airport stopped all flights. And the cartels were, schools were closed and businesses were also closed as they are today. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico City told American citizens in the area being affected to shelter in place. And then we have this. The CJNG is one of the most violent cartels. When El Mencho took it over in 2009, they trafficked to the U.S. fentanyl, cocaine, and methamphetamines to all 50 U.S. states. They were using armed drones against the Mexican military and the police. They were using IEDs, explosives, to attack the Mexican military. They were also doing public executions. And in February of 2026, the U.S. designated this cartel, CJNG, as a foreign terrorist organization, and then offered the $15 million bounty for the leader. I have a Patriot subscriber who has a contact in Mexico who says the CJNG also hit Tijuana, where they burned cars, set businesses and stores on fire, and drugstores, and also a Calamax grocery store. So we see expansion of the cartel retaliation, and all President Claudia Sheinbaum has to do is ask President Trump for help in Mexico by the U.S. military. But hey, and we have this from Mary Greeley News today. This cartel, CJNG, has closed 250 roads, and they are setting fires, and so far they have killed 60 plus. So that's going on. And we have this about Greenland. Now, we heard yesterday President Trump was sending a hospital ship to Greenland. A few more details are coming out. President Trump named the governor of the state of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, as the envoy to Greenland. Jeff Landry suggested to President Trump that a hospital ship for Greenland would help the people in their medical care. But additional details are coming out, something about a U.S. Marine needing additional medical treatment. He was life-flighted to Denmark. And of course, Denmark comes out and says, oh, Greenland has socialist medicine just like we do in Denmark. If the Greenlanders need medical attention, well, they can just go to Denmark. I wonder how they would get there and what exactly Denmark really actually does for the benefit of the people of Greenland. I suggest most likely very little. And we have this.
Take the next step in treating your moderate to severe ulcerative colitis with Entyvio, the only gut-focused.
Regarding Ukraine, this comes from Alex Cristoforo. Near Lviv is inside Ukraine, but it's also close to the border with Poland. There was an ambush by Ukraine resistance fighters who also killed a Ukraine police officer. This happened Saturday. And Steve Witkoff, President Trump's envoy to both Iran and Ukraine, in an interview with Laura Trump, the daughter-in-law of President Trump, said that, and Witkoff and Kushner have made 8 trips to Moscow. But he said, Russia, the negotiations are making progress. And he said of Iran, it's unknown if Iran will capitulate. So that's going on. We have this from Bulgaria. Okay, so Bulgaria, and I believe, no, this is Bulgaria. So they're going to close their airport. Bulgaria is located close to Ukraine, but they're closing their airport February 23 and 24, today and tomorrow, for U.S. military operations that are said to be associated with Iran. And we have this. We have February 22nd, yesterday, Russia evacuated Russian citizens from the UAE. They didn't take the diplomats at the Russian embassy in the UAE, but they did evacuate the family members of the Russian diplomats from the UAE yesterday. So we see sign after sign that something's coming. We have this. Slovakia and Hungary are making a move against Ukraine. Ukraine is blocking oil in a pipeline to Slovakia and Hungary. So now Slovakia and Hungary have given Ukraine until today to turn that oil back on, or Slovakia and Hungary are going to stop the emergency electrical power they've been sending to Ukraine. When you have a not president like Zelensky, who doesn't care anything at all about the people of Ukraine nor the people of Europe, well then. And we have this from Stephen Gardner. So much of these activities we're seeing, the regime change in Venezuela, the regime change upcoming in Iran, and then a scheduled regime change in Cuba, and also activities in Mexico going on, all relates back, much of it, to the U.S. presidential coup we saw in 2020. So you have a united force against the enemies of America who brought about that coup and the U.S. in 2020. You have united God, the American people, and President Trump. Nations who are on the hit list include China, the CCP, Canada, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, Germany. Germany was also involved. Serbia, Italy. Italy was the Leonardo satellite operated by the Vatican. And I said to my Catholic friends, this has nothing to do with the Catholic religion. It has to do with traitors within the political hierarchy of the Vatican. And Mexico plus. So yeah, all of these nations can expect hits. And going back to the 2020 rigged election in the U.S., we have recently seen the FBI raiding the voting records for 2020 in Fulton County, Georgia. Remember Fannie Willis, a DA there who tried to bring charges against President Trump for fraudulent election actions. Shut up, Fannie Willis.
Hey.
And it's amazing, and it shows you how corrupt Georgia really is. She's still in office. And we have this. So the FBI took the election records for 2020 from Fulton County, Georgia. And they found that there were 50 missing boxes of ballots. And then the commie Dems, many of whom are on the payroll of the CCP, went to court and said, Georgia wants those election boxes back. So they got them. And now the commie Dems, show publicly who and what they are. So that's going on. And an election specialist, an auditor interviewed by Stephen Gardner, said that 90% of the U.S. counties where voting takes place could not pass an election audit. So that's going on. And now we have this 2020 election in Nevada. A few discrepancies here. They had 690,000 mail-in ballots, which included 4,000 non-citizens. 42,000 voted twice. 20,000 had no mailing address. 2,400 were outside Nevada. 1,500 were votes cast by the dead. 19,000 went to individuals living outside Nevada and not legally eligible to vote in Nevada. They had moved outside the state. 8,000 fake addresses, plus other discrepancies. So this is only the tip of the iceberg with regard to the U.S. Presidential coup in 2020. And I've listed the nations that are most at the top of the list to be hit by the U.S. We've seen Venezuela, and Venezuela's oil to China has stopped. We see the U.S. currently lining up to hit Iran, and this will also result in stopping oil to China. And we see inside China, we see Xi surrounded by a Chinese military he does not control. And we see him also hanging on by his fingernails to power when he has both the Chinese military and the Communist Party coming against him. I would not be surprised during the month of March that Xi was no longer in power. And I will say the same for Keir Starmer. So it's good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Hydroxycut Hardcore Shredding Stack is here.
Okay. Really mean for today. So I found another one, Carol, but I looked at JRL on YouTube. He doesn't have nothing. He's actually live there in Arizona. So I don't know if those are fake news or what on TikTok. But I found another one.
Guys about something really quick. I know I upset some of you guys because you guys really hate for me to talk about this particular subject, but it's something that's important to me that I have to get off of my chest. So every 2 years, I've told you guys how much it ticks me off to every 2 years have to deal with white liberals showing up trying to appease or speak down to black people. How they show up and they let their real bigotry out, and it just gets under my skin every single time. Yesterday, we see Gavin Newsom get up speaking to a black conference, and he wants to really, create a bond and build some rapport. So the best way that he knows how to do that is to insult himself and insult the people that he's speaking to and say, I'm just like you. I'm a 960 ACT or SAT guy. I'm like you. I can't read that well. In fact, you never see me reading a script. So he's told us that he's too dumb to be a president, but he's going to attempt to get your vote in 2028. But he hopes that you'll be dumb enough to vote for him because just like you, he can't read. This is a guy who's been a governor for many years in the state of California. What are their literacy rates? And if he's been a governor for that long, maybe he should do a gut check to find out why people in the California school system aren't reading better and aren't scoring higher on their SATs. But then he takes his West Coast racism out to Georgia and feels like that's what's going to garner him support, is appealing to dumb black people. I'm not saying that these people were dumb. What I'm saying is that that's what he thinks of black people. That's what he thinks of people of color. The only way he knows how to relate is to dumb himself down because that's what black people are. They're too dumb to know who to vote for. They're too dumb to do their own research to figure out who actually has a record worth voting for and to do their own research. Gosh, at this point, they're too dumb to go and get a birth certificate or to get a passport or driver's license. This is what they think of black people. But yet, the people on the right are racist. Trump goes to black people and says, hey, I'm like you. I work really hard. I've had to work really hard. I had to work blue-collar jobs. All of my kids, before they could come and work in the offices, they all had to learn how to work heavy equipment. They all had to learn how to work every single job in the Trump Corporation before they could come and work in the office. I'm like you. I've had to work my way up. I didn't get to start at the top. Which one of those messages sounds more racist to you? One, you can call a racist all day long and people will say, yeah, hurrah, yes. And the other one will come to you and tell you, yeah, I'm like you. I can't read either. Oh, I'm like you. I can't even score 1,000 on my SAT. I'm like you. I don't know how to get a birth certificate either. I don't know how to go and get a driver's license. I'm like you. I don't have internet. I never knew my dad. This is the dumbest and most evil, idiotic ploy I've ever seen. And I hope to God that people start to see through this. And I believe people are waking up. That's enough of my rant. I'm sorry. Let me know what you guys think. Am I overreading this? Or do you guys understand my frustration? I'll see you next time.
Okay, latest on cue there. See how much we can get done here in the next half hour or so. The next one came off the news for us, you guys. What's Amanda Grace 2-minute one just came out.
Where an armed gunman entered and was shot by Secret Service. There are some very interesting things connected to it. The individual's name was Austin Tucker Martin, 21 years old, North Carolina native. An incident occurred where he was killed about 1:30 a.m. on Sunday at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. He entered with a gas can and a shotgun, according to a spokesperson for the Secret Service. Now, let me show you something fascinating about what's going on here. So the people chosen for these exploits are no accident. The places they happen, the dates, the timing, it's not an accident. The kingdom of darkness and the realm of the spirit are so connected to events in the natural that many times it is the same entities who have their watermark within simultaneous events happening nationwide and international. I'm going to show you something mind-blowing about this in just a moment. First of all, the acronym for this person's name, Austin Tucker Martin, is ATM. So I would watch the banking industry right now for something national to happen. But secondly, to prove my point about the spirit realm being connected, let me show you this. This is going to blow your mind. Ready? Now, we have Austin Tucker Martin, Mar-a-Lago. About a week ago at the Capitol, an individual named Carter Camacho was actually shot for trying to enter the Capitol with a shotgun. So you have Austin Tucker Martin, Mar-a-Lago, Carter Camacho at the Capitol. These happen within about 8 days or so of each other. Do you know what you can spell from all of this? Do you know what's hidden within these two very closely related events? Ready for it? Here we go. CCP, Purim, Iran, cartel, Tucker Carlson, Israel, and Guthrie. Everything that is in the news right now, the CCP connected to charities in this nation, Iran and what's happening there. Purim is coming up March 2nd at sundown. You have also the cartel, that head leader of one of the biggest cartels, that incident in Mexico yesterday, Tucker Carlson in Israel, just happened as well. And Nancy Guthrie. So these are not an accident. These things align because many times the same entities are involved in one way or another in these type of events. So continue to be watchmen, be in the Word of God every single day. Keep the faith.
So that I never seen one on News Force. That just came out, you guys. Okay, finally go. Here's a 4-minute one. I don't know if I played it.
Skywatcher's Code. If Stonehenge were the only site like this, you could dismiss it as a fluke, a one-off achievement by an unusually clever Neolithic community. But Stonehenge is not alone. It's not even close to being alone. At Carnac in Brittany, France, the over 3,000 standing stones stretch in parallel rows for more than 2 miles. Erected between 4,500 and 3,300 BCE, some of them older than Stonehenge by more than a millennium, the Carnac alignments track celestial events across the horizon with a precision that implies generations of observation and calibration. At Newgrange in Ireland's Boyne Valley, a massive passage tomb built around 3200 BCE is aligned so precisely that on the winter solstice, a beam of sunlight enters through a narrow roof box above the entrance and illuminates the inner chamber for exactly 17 minutes. The margin of error in the alignment is less than 1 degree. This was built 500 years before Stonehenge's sarcens went up and 1,000 years before the Great Pyramid at Giza. At Avebury, just 20 miles north of Stonehenge, an even larger stone circle, the biggest in the world, enclosing an entire village, was constructed around the same period. A ceremonial avenue of paired standing stones connects Avebury to a site called the Sanctuary, 2 miles away. The landscape isn't a collection of isolated monuments. It's a network, a system. And then there's Göbekli Tepe.
It was built 11,500 years ago by hunter-gatherers. This is Göbekli Tepe.
In southeastern Turkey, on a bare hilltop overlooking the Harran Plain, a German archaeologist named Klaus Schmidt began excavating in 1995 and found something that rewrote the timeline of human civilization. Massive T-shaped limestone pillars carved with elaborate animal reliefs, lions, foxes, scorpions, vultures, arranged in concentric circles. The oldest layers date to approximately 9,500 BCE. That is 11,500 years ago, 6,000 years before Stonehenge, or 7,000 years before writing. Built by hunter-gatherers who, according to everything we thought we knew, shouldn't have been capable of this. And yet the pillars at Göbekli Tepe show astronomical alignments too. Researcher Martin Sweatman at the University of Edinburgh published analysis in 2017 suggesting that one pillar in particular encodes a record of the Younger Dryas impact event, a catastrophic cosmic incident around 10,800 BCE that triggered rapid global cooling. Do you see the pattern? Across continents, across millennia, separated by oceans and thousands of years, different civilizations independently developed the same obsession. Align massive stones with the sky, track the cosmos in rock, encode astronomical knowledge in geometry that would outlast any individual, any language, any empire. Karnak, Newgrange, Avebury, Göbekli Tepe, Stonehenge. Each one different in detail, each one identical in principle. Precision-engineered stone structures, astronomically aligned, acoustically active, designed to endure. And here's the part that no one can fully explain. In almost every case, the knowledge disappears. Only the materials have. The Skywatcher's Code. If Stonehenge were the only site like this, you could dismiss it as a fluke, a one-off achievement by an unusually clever Neolithic community. But Stonehenge is not alone. It's not even...
Okay, I thought that was interesting there. History lesson there. Another new one on YouTube I've been following. 8 minutes.
Was co-founded in 2004 by Kimball Musk, who is the brother of Elon Musk. This was after they sold Zip2. Kimball Musk has been being mentioned in news sources like the Denver Post because his name comes up 100 to 300 times in the Epstein files. So recently he posted on X, by the way, we are in Boulder, Colorado, where their first location is at, and we're going to see if they can cook the perfect medium rare steak. So make sure you guys are subscribed. So anyways, on X, he says, this post is related to the Epstein files and why my name is in them. In 2012, I started dating a woman who was 30 years old when I met her through a friend. Epstein did not introduce us. My only meeting with that demon was in his New York office during the day. I never met with him again, and I never went to his island. The reason he has so many emails from me is because he was subscribed to a newsletter I sent out to thousands of people every few weeks. My heart goes out to the many victims of Jeffrey Epstein, as it does for those who have suffered sexual assault and harassment. Kimball. So anyways, I just want to see how the restaurant is, and I will be rating it for food, the service, and the overall experience out of 10 to see what they score out of 30. Let's do this.
Speaking about the files, this just in, a former British ambassador to US, Peter Mandelson, arrested by London police amid Jeffrey Epstein scandal. You guys may have seen the ridiculous photos of former Prince Andrew, who was also arrested for his ties. And since then, he has been released and is still under investigation. So he was taken in for several hours and questioned. This was the first time in modern history that a member of the British royal family had been arrested. One of the victims, Virginia Roberts Groove, has spoken out about being trafficked to former Prince Andrew. Allegedly, Jeffrey Epstein attempted to have dinner with none other than Joe Rogan, and he declined. Quite the opposite of what allegedly happened with Whoopi Goldberg. She was begging to use his jet, but Jeffrey told her no. Now, Whoopi Goldberg on her show has been freaking out, saying she has absolutely no ties to him. Bill Clinton for sure cannot say that. He is all over it. You guys may remember about Bill Gates secretly trying to slip antibiotics to Melinda because he caught something after being around some Russian girls. People have pointed out that Obama, our former president, was giving medals of honors to many people who were involved. Is that why he gave them a medal? Until arrests actually happen, we just got to keep living our lives. So let's see if the kitchen can cook the perfect medium rare steak.
I think it's funny that the kitchen is the name of it because it's just so generic. I've just been craving a steak for weeks, so let's go get some protein. I mean, seriously, this sign is super, super simplistic. It's cute. I like it. It's minimalistic. All right, guys, so we're in and the table is really nice, and I got the Kansas City strip steak, which is $89.50, and it doesn't come with fries or anything, so you can order separately the vegetables or the grains. And so along with that, I got some garlic fries, and the garlic fries were $10. You know you're in a nice restaurant when they ask you if you want sparkly water. They're going to bring out the fries first. They just dropped off a knife, and I have to say the shape of it fits your hand so perfectly. We're getting ready for our steak. So I just want to give you guys a feel for the environment here. The tables are really nice. It's very minimalistic, and you can see it has this red brick wall. As soon as we walked in, she asked how we were doing, if we have ever been here before, and the waiter is so good at his job. He just brought my daughter some crayons, and he just brought us an entire new jug of water, and he also walked by to refill our water. So the service here is really good, and also all of the staff looks so neat. I mean, they're so well dressed, and I saw that the kitchen was having a group meeting, and they were all like, oh, like they did some cheer together. So it was cool to see all the coworkers working together. And yeah, I mean, they answered the questions that I had on the menu. So yeah, overall, this is a really great experience. All right, guys, and the fries have just arrived. Wow. These fries look amazing. I don't know what kind of sauce this is, though. These fries are so thick. Oh my gosh. That was one of the best French fries I've ever had. It's super, super crunchy on the outside, but on the inside.
Got $90 for a steak?
It was really soft. It's delicious. I don't know how they cooked it like that. And the sauce kind of tasted like some type of tartar sauce. Look at the consistency of this fry, how on the outside it's pretty golden brown, but on the inside it's super soft. This is one of the best French fries I've ever had. And the seasoning is nice too. I don't know what it is. All right, guys, our 18-ounce prime steak has arrived. It is massive. I was also just told that one of their known dishes here is the deep fried carrot. So everything here is handmade. These French fries were, of course, chopped and made here. So they're really, really good. So let me know if you guys think that this is a perfect medium rare. So you can see it comes with chimichurri, which I love chimichurri. How does it look to you guys? Does that look like a good medium rare?
What is it,
looks
Jay?
Amazing to me. My mouth is watering.
My mouth is watering.
Look, there's some yellow juice over here. I don't know what that's from. I think that this is cooked perfectly. I love it. Oh, this looks so good. Oh, why am I have 2 forks? What am I doing? This is what happens when you take me to a fancy restaurant. They bring me this nice knife and I'm like, oh, I'll just use a fork. My goodness, this is one juicy steak. It's so juicy. Wow. This is amazing. You know it's amazing steak because I don't feel like asking for any other sauces. And similar to the fries, it's a little bit crunchy on.
All right. That's enough of that one. We got 2 Nick videos I want to get in. These are both 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Brutally roasted, making extremely racist comments in Atlanta yesterday in an attempt to appear relatable to a crowd of black people. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very serious situation to talk about here because his comments may actually solidify him as the reigning champ and the Democrats' #1 top racist. And this could be a major upset because for the longest time, almost a decade now, Hillary Clinton has held that title for her comments that she made on the Breakfast Club. But ladies and gentlemen, this might actually take the cake. So we're going to play the clip from Hillary, and then we're going to get into what Gavin said, and then we're going to compare and contrast the two, and I'll let you guys be the judges out there and decide who is the bigger racist.
That's us.
Really?
Yes.
Now, listen, I just want you to know people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
Now, that was very impressive, right? To just talk in Ebonics, perpetuate stereotypes, and then openly admit to pandering for the black vote. That's why she's been the queen for so long. But Gavin Newsom did something very interesting yesterday. And this, I'm telling you guys, this is going to make him a contender for the #1 spot. Because it's one thing to go on a radio show and pander and talk in Ebonics and all that stuff. It's an entirely different ball game to go before a crowd of black people in Atlanta, look them all in the eye and say, I'm just like you because I'm retarded and I can't read.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, you know, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Enjoy 24-hour access at most Planet Fitness clubs. $1 down, $15 a month. Deal ends February 27th.
Sherlock?
Sherlock. Sherlock.
Sherlock. Sherlock. It's an unusual name.
Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Holy smokes. Now, this takes it to a whole new level. And I don't know how I didn't catch this the first time. But let's just think for a moment and appreciate the balls on a man who's going to go before a crowd of black people, say, I can't read, and I'm just like you because you can't read either, while selling you a book. A book which he didn't write, and a book which you apparently can't read. Now, I didn't know this, but apparently this entire engagement, this event, was for Gavin Newsom's book tour. So he's on tour, and part of his speech is that he cannot read, therefore he didn't write the book which he's selling you. I'm surprised I don't see a wheelbarrow anywhere, because I don't know how this guy gets around with his massive set of balls. I mean, that takes audacity. I got to hand it to him. Now, let's just run through this one more time for the people in the back. Let's reiterate the audacity that this takes, okay? You are on tour selling a book which you didn't write and you can't read. And part of your speech on that tour is to tell the crowd that you can't read it either, but you should totally buy this book you can't read, which I didn't write, which I can't read either. That is amazing. That is just utterly amazing to me. Now, look, if anyone out there can't read, you're dyslexic, you have some kind of disability, I'm not trying to poke fun here, but let's just think about the ramifications of being a governor, let alone a president, and not being able to read any of the bills that you're signing into law, not being able to read into national security classified information without somebody having to brief you and tell you what's on the piece of paper. Does anybody else see a problem with that? Yeah, I think that might be a national security threat. And so anybody that's reading between the lines here understands that Gavin Newsom has absolutely no shot in hell of ever being the next president on that basis alone. But ladies and gentlemen, for the time being.
So, Greg, Triangle, the next two is, did you guys hear about Cash locker room drinking there and celebrating? I got, Trisha has a clip, and the one lady on TikTok will get the next two and then come back and get.
What we're seeing here is an utter implosion of a person that has just gone on record and let you know how he really feels about black people. And just this is a level of entitlement which I've never seen before in my life, to just expect that if you go on stage and say I'm stupid and retarded and I can't read, that's going to get you more votes. Now, the memes coming away from this situation are absolutely glorious. Here's one. How do I know you can relate to me? Because I'm literally retarded. You got Gavin here claiming to be a poor black child. And then this one, Obama giving old Wonder Bread Gavin some cornrows to gear up for 2028. And ladies and gentlemen, he is getting absolutely cooked, because to anybody with a triple-digit IQ, not Gavin, obviously, he doesn't even realize how bad he just owned himself. It's actually a double own, because you're insulting the people you're talking to while insulting yourself at the same time. But if you're out there and you have not been captured by the woke mind virus and you're not completely brainwashed, then you see this as extremely offensive, because it's very revealing as to how he actually thinks about minorities. He is trying to relate to you by telling you how bad he did on a test and how terrible he is at reading. It'd be like if he were to come out there dribbling a basketball, holding some chicken gizzards and saying, I'm just like you. If you can't see this for what it is, then you have been completely brainwashed. And by the way, the whole notion that Gavin's just like you because he grew up to a single mom, he ate Stouffer's lasagna, and he had a rough upbringing, it is total and utter BS, because his father, William Alfred Newsom III, was a state appeals court justice and attorney for a billionaire by the name of Gordon Getty. Okay. Now, Newsom was described as a surrogate son to Gordon Getty, and Gordon provided the initial crucial financing for Newsom's first businesses, the Plumpjack Group, which launched his career. So yeah, his mom was a waitress that struggled financially, but his dad was an attorney and a judge on the appeals court who had tremendous political access and gave Gavin a lot of opportunity and privilege and access to capital to fund his business ventures, despite the fact that he was retarded and couldn't read. And the home that Gavin Newsom grew up in, his childhood in San Francisco, where he was, shooting hoops in the hood, it recently sold for $3.6 million. Here's a picture of it. This beautiful, beautiful home, equipped with a full-size swimming pool, a hot tub, 2 stories. It's got a separate cabin. This house sold for $3.6 million recently. And that's the hood that Gavin grew up in. So yeah, if Gavin was eating Stouffer's lasagna, it was probably fed to him by a butler on a silver spoon. I mean, it's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where you claim you grew up in the west side of Philadelphia when really you spent most of your time in Bel-Air. Gavin's like the Fresh Prince of L.A. But ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share this with you guys because I want to know from you guys out there in the crowd, the judges out there, do you think this is enough to take the title from Hillary Clinton? Is Gavin now the Democrats' top dog, number one racist? Or do you think that Hillary Clinton still reigns supreme? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section.
How many you want? You guys don't want me to play those? I'll play the second Nick video.
Now local experts do your taxes with 100% accuracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Newsom is getting absolutely humiliated right now, raked over the coals, brutally roasted for making extremely racist comments in Atlanta yesterday in an attempt to appear relatable to a crowd of black people. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very serious situation to talk about here, because his comments may actually solidify him as the reigning champ, the Democrats' #1 top racist. And this could be a major upset, because for the longest time, almost a decade now, Hillary Clinton has held that title for her comments that she made on the Breakfast Club. But ladies and gentlemen, this might actually take the cake. So we're going to play the clip from Hillary, and then we're going to get into what Gavin said, and then we're going to compare and contrast the two, and I'll let you guys be the judges out there and decide who is the bigger racist.
That's us.
Really?
Yes.
Now, listen, I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
Now, that was very impressive, right? To just talk in Ebonics, perpetuate stereotypes, and then openly admit to pandering for the black vote. That's why she's been the queen for so long. But Gavin Newsom did something very interesting yesterday. And this, I'm telling you guys, this is going to make him a contender for the #1 spot, because it's one thing to go on a radio show and pander and talk in Ebonics and all that stuff. It's an entirely different ball game to go before a crowd of black people in Atlanta, look them all in the eye and say, I'm just like you because I'm retarded and I can't read.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, you know, trying to act all there if you got 940.
Sorry about that. He was talking about the same video on the first one. He had two of them about the same thing. I'm going to play one of those videos. He has every right to celebrate on his own time.
Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were the ones in charge of the FBI when the FBI decided what in the Epstein files was going to be redacted and who. What's the date on that? Do we have clear guidance on redacting images? They spent millions of dollars in overtime in order to get these files redacted before they sent them out to you. They redacted the co-conspirators. They know who they are. They know who the co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein are. The amount of people that are defending Kash Patel in this whole thing is astronomical. Did you know that the Olympics and the Super Bowl were two of the major hubs when it came to human and child trafficking and human slavery? I guess that's par for the course for Kash Patel, though. All you had to do was stop watching. It is the least that you could do is stop paying attention to their bread and circuses. Their bread and circuses, which give opportunities to the major corporations that you claim to hate, in order to make money. These major hubs where human and child trafficking is rampant, so much so that they create task forces for it every single year. For the Super Bowl, every 4 years if you're in the Olympics. And don't even get me started on the propaganda.
I just see what I think I did in the Olympics ceremonial opening. Pentagram.
The thing that would impact your life the least is to not participate in the bread and circuses. And I posted that to X. And some of these comments that I got, shame on you. Our country should have people from this administration there to celebrate this victory. I'm glad that Patel was there and he got to celebrate with Team USA. Shame on you. Shame on you. You just learned that your entire structure, your power structure, is run by pedophiles. They abuse children ritually. And Heidi Hartman says that Kash was there on official business. He attended meetings regarding the safety of our athletes. What about the safety of our children? Kelly Pitcher says that this is why she quit following me. It's okay for our previous administration to go to South Korea and fall at their feet, but he stepped outside on a trip to go to a game. Yes, no, it's not okay. None of that is okay. She unfollowed me, but then she didn't unfollow me, so she still follows me. Kelly, just chill. What the fuck is wrong with you people? The least thing you could have done is not watch. is not pay attention. Because if nobody watches, if nobody pays attention, then it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen anymore. Everybody's out here calling for a revolution. They want to go to the streets. They want to go and burn shit down with their torches and pitchforks, but you can't even turn off your TV. I caught a video earlier this week and she's like, they don't hear you, honey. And she's like, they can't hear you. The people you've been screaming at since 2020, 2019, 2018, they can't hear you. They don't hear you. They just think you're crazy and they poo-poo you. And we're right back here. These are the same people that got 6 feet apart at the grocery store because it's the least that we could do, that wore masks because it was the least that we could do. These are those same people. And nothing's changed. I can't even... You have the emails. You read them. Kash Patel redacted them. They've done nothing. They have arrested nobody. They haven't held anybody to account. But go Team USA? What the fuck? One lady on Instagram accused me of being so black-pilled and Trump deranged. You know what? I would rather be both of those things than to walk around here with my head in the fucking sand. They were eating them. And they mocked you and they called you all kinds of horrific things. They took pictures of it.
She's saying everything right, I think.
And they emailed each other back and forth. These pictures just
makes sense
out in the open because they thought they were untouchable. And fuck, maybe they are. It's people like y'all. People like, there's so many comments like this. Okay. It's people like you who see a crime being committed and instead of stepping in to try to do something, you just walk by. Or worse, you pull your phone out and just record. Wouldn't save a child if it inconvenienced your life in the slightest way. You can't even turn your TV off. You can't even... fucking A, I need a break from this. You know, I started my content with shit like with Pizzagate. That was the bulk of my content with COVID and Pizzagate. And I had to walk away, and not because it was awful, because it was awful. Okay. But because the reaction to it was so dull. Nothing is ever going to change until y'all snap the fuck out of it. And you won't, because it's more comfortable to be there. It's more comfortable to be in that system and just in the comments celebrating USA. You're like, but that shit's done for me. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with you people. Maybe this is a demoralizing campaign because I am de-fucking moralized. Okay. I am de-fucking moralized. I hope the whole system goes down. I hope the whole thing burns down and it takes y'all with it. There's nothing worse than this. There's nothing worse than apathetic actions. Like you just fuck.
She did okay addressing that, I think. She was right on that. I want to finish off with Benny. 10 minutes, you guys. 10 minutes.
Bamboo HR is your complete HR, payroll, and benefits platform where everything works together in one place. It's an
What's up, guys? It's Benny. An absolutely insane update out of Mexico. Now it looks like they are setting the border on fire with the United States of America, effectively closing the U.S. border with Mexico. This is amazing. Okay, where can I politically support the cartels? If they are the ones who can finally close the border with Mexico, all right, now we're talking. Whatever. I'm making a joke here. This is terrible. They've set a bunch of cars on fire. They're setting cars on fire all throughout Mexico in order to try and shut down entire states, traffic, commerce, and capacity for people to flee or to get out of the country and get into America where they don't have, well, yet operational control. And this is something that is horrifying. It's affecting the border states for sure. And many people are very nervous about this cartel war stretching into the United States of America. This is obviously a chief concern. It's a concern because, well, Mexico has been a cartel state, is a cartel state, is not a real place. And President Sheinbaum, who just had like massive protests outside of the presidential palace and the government buildings in Mexico City, where hundreds of thousands of people protested her cartel rule of the narco state. Trump's been on this, baby. Trump announced U.S. land strikes on drug cartels in Mexico will happen soon, saying that effectively no one is safe if you are narking drugs into America. Trump previously warned Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum to get her act together in the aftermath of the capture of Maduro. Something remarkable just happened on Fox News, where Claudia Sheinbaum was just exposed, and it's insane. Cartel violence is being allowed in Mexico because Sheinbaum works for the cartels. A senator from Mexico went on Fox News and exposed it all. The president of Mexico works for the cartels. She was funded by money from the cartels. Not just the president, there's an entire group of Mexican politicians labeled narco politicians. Mexico is a narco state. Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels. And her entire party affiliation is financed by the cartels. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, doesn't want this information getting out. Yikes. Once they get elected, the deal is for the Mexican government to protect the cartels. Mexicans and the politicians who are paid off by the cartels don't want Donald Trump to help. Mexican senators exposing all of this after being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened me to proceed against me in criminal prosecution. This is wild. There have been obviously assassinations of mayors and various other members of the Mexican elites who have stood up against Claudia Sheinbaum. It is terrifying that this is happening across our border. Ladies and gentlemen, the interview, here we go. So let's start off with this Mexican senator effectively queuing all of this up.
The president of Mexico is furious. She's calling Mexican Senator Lily Tellez a traitor for coming on Fox Noticias with me a few days ago and saying this. Listen.
The help from the United States to fight the cartels in Mexico is absolutely welcome, and that is how the majority of Mexicans feel. The only ones who don't like that President Trump is sending help and trying to support Mexicans against the cartels are the narco politicians. That includes President Sheinbaum.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum responding, saying, quote, "It's not a minor issue that a senator gave an interview to a foreign media outlet calling for intervention." Here to discuss is that Mexican Senator Lily Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Sorry, I can't pronounce the name.
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect the Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must, I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
Okay, so that's the setup. Lily Tellez, then it goes hard in on Sheinbaum, explaining exactly how corrupt the entire system is. Check this out.
Mexico is a very dangerous place.
Well, that brings me to my next question, because you are speaking very bluntly, very clearly about Mexico being a narco state and the alliance and the connections to the president of Mexico. Are you afraid for your life?
Yes, I am afraid. And the president has threatened me to proceed against me with criminal prosecution, to get me out of the Senate and get me in jail just because I told you in this space and Fox News what is the reality of our country with the cartels. The cartels are dominating everything here in Mexico. They are in all the offices of the government, in the states, in the cities, and in the national government. So, of course, I am afraid, but I want people to know I will not step back. And I pray under God's guidance that we, the United States and Mexico, must work together to defeat the cartels and to get freedom for our country, for Mexico, to stop it from being the next Venezuela.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix,
It's not over.
This rings true. This rings true because Claudia Sheinbaum, like this clip is now going viral across my feed. Look at this. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is using force against cartel. Using force against the cartels violates their civil rights. Any talk of engaging in a war with the cartels is a right-wing talking point fueled by fascism. Isn't that amazing? It's the word they always use. This is how Democrats allowed, this is who Democrats allowed in our country, 4 years of open borders. This is actually one of the most insane things I have ever heard.
No es opción.
Yeah. It is violating their constitutional rights, their human rights to attack drug traffickers, rapists, and cartel members and human smugglers and drug smugglers. The cartels run Mexico, not this lady. There's no question that she's a plant. The question is by which cartel? Mexico today. Yikes. President Trump, once again, we're going to start hitting the land with regard to the cartels. We're going to start hitting Mexico. And Trump has often warned Claudia Sheinbaum. Was this operation a message to Claudia Sheinbaum? She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. Something is going to have to be done with Sheinbaum. Trump administration is planning new mission in Mexico against the cartels, former U.S. officials say. I'm not a criminal. The Mexican politician suspected of being in bed with the cartels. Oh, okay. I'm not a criminal. Yeah. It would violate their human rights to take out the cartels. This is what we're fighting. This is the ideology that we are fighting, and we have to win. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.
Okay, the last one for tonight. Ending on Benny there. All right, another day of intel. So tomorrow night will be a big night. Yeah, and I'll be coming on about 8 o'clock tomorrow night, an hour before it starts. But I'm going to do a show probably at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I'll do a couple hours show, then come back for tomorrow night. Welcome to the new names in the chat tonight. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Maria. Mods. Okay, Carol, Lucy. Miney Gold, Tim. All right, yeah, I will. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night with the big night. Hopefully, they always say something's going to happen, but I don't think so. I'm going to try to go for an hour during the speech. If it's going to be the same stuff that, anything doesn't happen, we'll check it out. How long is it? Oh, yeah, I'm too tired. Thanks for sharing that. Yep, we did 2 shows today. So yeah, we'll have a big night tomorrow, and God bless everybody. Love all. Remember, please just like. And all the new people, please go to the description and sub to the backup channel. Thank you. So stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, never give up. Signing off another night of day intel. And we'll be Chico Dude. We'll see you about 3 tomorrow.